Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. A pedestrian is fighting for life after being hit by a car and then a truck in Sprayton. In a cruel twist, police have been unable to identify the man and are appealing for help.
A horror crash before the sun rose here in Sprayton's main street. Police say a man stepped out into oncoming traffic before being hit by a car and then a truck.
The scene this morning from both witnesses and emergency service was very confronting and distressing.
He was taken to the Mersey before being airlifted to the Royal Hobart Hospital in a critical condition. But exactly who the man is remains a mystery.
We have exhausted police systems at this current time and have been unable to identify the man.
He wasn't carrying a phone or any form of identification.
The man was wearing blue jeans, he had blue Everlast trainers, and he had a grey t-shirt with Mr Happy logo on the front.
With police calling for anyone who might know something to come forward.
We're appealing for any member of the public who may have a friend or a relative who is unaccounted for.
It's less than 3 weeks since a similar incident in Burnie saw a man in his 70s die after being hit by a log truck at a busy intersection. The drivers of both vehicles from this morning's crash have been left shaken but unharmed.
There's no indication at all that the vehicles involved were exceeding the speed limit or distracted by any other means.
The road was closed for hours, with traffic diverted to the Bass Highway until around 11 o'clock. Annie Green, 7 Tasmanian News.
Police are hunting for a wanted person after tactical officers stormed a home in Rochelle this afternoon. The Special Operations Group was called in and streets cordoned off as authorities tried to negotiate with a person thought to be inside. Once they entered, they didn't find anyone. They were first called to the address with reports of an incident between 2 people they believe were known to each other. They're still searching but say there is no risk to the wider community. Tasmania's animal welfare advocates are fearing the worst, with a leaked document triggering concerns more racing greyhounds could be euthanized. Potential changes to an adoption program have been laid bare in a proposal the minister responsible says she wasn't aware of.
The precious pups getting a second chance after a career on the track.
Just wonderful companions. They don't tend to bark a lot, they don't jump a lot, they're beautiful on leash, they're very soft a character.
A greyhound adoption program helps rehome these retired runners, but proposed changes by Tas Racing to how it will function have come under fire.
They're putting the power fully back into the trainers' hands. The trainers have been unhappy ever since there have been regulations that they are supposed to adhere to.
A leaked paper outlines the adjustments, acknowledging some greyhounds can't be rehomed and will be euthanized as a result.
There it is in black and white. The industry is acknowledging that there will be some greyhounds that can't be rehomed and they will be killed.
The state government accused of turning its back on a promise towards a no-kill policy.
4 years after the minister made that announcement, we've got a complete reversal, which will lead to many more of these dogs being killed.
As the racing minister remains adamant, she was left in the dark.
I've immediately sought a briefing from the CEO of Tas Racing. I'm an animal lover. I'm very concerned about all animal welfare issues and I'll certainly be acting on it quickly.
A dental treatment scheme and adoption fee reductions are also among the steps being taken.
Tas Racing says it doesn't understand the basis for animal welfare concerns, with the organisation currently acting to improve its rehoming operation and outcomes for greyhounds.
In my heart, I would love to see a no euthanasia situation. To get to that situation, we have to do the hard yards.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
2 Tasmanian federal and state politicians have come out publicly in support of the controversial AUKUS deal. Liberals John O'Duniam and Madeleine Ogilvie are calling for bipartisan support for the Pact, while local defence manufacturers hope the state will reap the benefits.
We have been investing heavily in preparation for what's coming in terms of developing a very strong industry, upskilling our workforce, investing in plant and equipment.
It is the deal to provide security and stability to this region, and the investments that have been committed to here in Australia in partnership with those other nations will set us up for the future.
Tasmanian companies are keen to use their shipbuilding capabilities and to supply materials for their new nuclear-powered submarine fleet. The rising cost of power has dominated discussions at the Tasmanian Industry Summit. Business leaders are calling on the state government to intervene to bring energy costs down.
We were very buoyed to hear the Premier talking in his State of the State address about an energy dividend for Tasmanians. I think that's a very good move. The summit certainly agreed strongly that Tasmania should stay a part of the national energy market, but we do also believe that Tasmania should benefit from that.
The summit also identified a need for better digital infrastructure, road networks and incentives to attract and retain skilled workers. The first stage of the upgrade to the Tarraleah Power Station is underway, with $100 million being spent to improve ageing infrastructure. 7 Tasmanian News has been given an exclusive look at the project, which is changing how water is delivered to the turbines.
Powering the new era of Hydro Tasmania. Tons of dirt around Lake King William making way to revitalise a historic part of the state's electricity network.
Giving it what we call a birthday, an opportunity to have another 85 years of life.
Nearly $100 million is being spent to support Tarraleah Station. A larger water intake area is being created to expand capacity, along with an upgrade of the nearby Mossy Marsh Dam spillway.
Create a more pressurised water conveyance system into the power station. That gives us a much greater flexibility in the way we generate and utilise the water.
We need to grow our renewable energy credentials. We need to bring on more renewable energy.
All this taking place ahead of the next stage. A decision on the new $700 million Tarraleah is due next year, with its output to double from 90 megawatts at a minimum. Another 13 kilometres of pipe will go underground, bringing water movement into the 21st century.
Tunnelling is important to keep the incline or the decline. It's what will give us more efficient use of the water, greater capacity.
Bill shock in the past 12 months has put the heat on political promises. The Energy Minister confident the investment will help their battery of the nation credentials.
We want to stay ahead of the game in Tasmania in terms of renewable energy, bringing on more renewable energy.
Hydro Tasmania is also interested in acquiring another significant piece of infrastructure nearby, confirming it's lodged a bid to purchase Tarraleah Estate and return the former Workers Village now accommodation provider into its ownership.
It'll be reused for the purpose it was originally built for. I'm confident that we've put a good expression of interest in.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's population has grown by 4,100 people in a year, according to new ABS data, and the rise isn't slowing. Another 80,000 people are expected in the next decade.
We need to invest in housing. We need to make it easier for people to get into the housing market. We also need the government to execute on their housing strategy, and we need to invest in skills so that we have the tradespeople on the ground to build those houses.
The government is working with master builders to strengthen its high-vis army program and increase Tasmania's construction workforce by a quarter come 2025. An international developer claims it finally has most of the Clarence community on its side following the release of highly modified plans to a 5-star draw card. Shambroad now hoping council will see the recreational benefits of its new Kangaroo Bay Hotel.
Sparking controversy for 6 years, the proposed Kangaroo Bay Hotel now sporting a new look.
This new development is substantially less in area, both in height and mass of building.
The changes are based on consultation with nearly 2,600 members of the Clarence community.
The building is now set back from the waterfront. It has premium level restaurants as well as casual dining, and it has meeting and conference facilities.
Shambroad's 5-star design also featuring between 125 to 150 rooms, separated cycling and walking lanes, and a weather-protected zone from Bellary Village to Rosny.
The thing that's different about this hotel is the storytelling. Each of the levels on the hotel has a distinct story associated with it.
The modifications finally pleasing most of the public, with 51% of people showing the hotel in favour of its build, as opposed to 39% that found it unappealing.
I think something needs to go here. Look at this, it's horrible.
There's not a lot of accommodation on the Eastern Shore, so I think it'll be wonderful.
A development such as Kangaroo Bay, which increases the density of people living and working in those areas, can only support the business sector in and around that area.
Whether or not Shamroad can move forward with its hotel will be decided on Monday night, when the amended design is put to the Clarence City Council. Mayor Brendan Blomley stating it's an important site in our city and one to get right, adding he looks forward to the debate.
Assuming that that is positive, we then have to lodge documentation, which is further design work, by the end of this month.
Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Bystanders in Burnie have helped police catch a drunk driver who was nearly 5 times over the legal limit. Officers were called to Burnie's CBD around 8 o'clock last night, where members of the public were trying to prevent the man from driving off. The 47-year-old was taken into custody and returned a reading of .245.
After cutting his triathlon teeth in Devonport, Tasmanian Olympian Jake Bertwhistle is back to conquer the event once again. The course around the Mersey Bluff is near and dear to Bertwhistle. He won his first Senior Oceania title in Devonport back in 2015 and also raced there in his junior days.
Being home this time of year is quite unusual for me. In the last kind of few seasons, I've always either been away racing already by now or kind of on a training camp somewhere preparing for the year ahead. So it's nice to kind of be home for this extended period, and it's nice that that kind of fits in with being able to race at Devonport.
Bertwhistle has been busy racing around the state, taking up the Greens Beach Triathlon and Hobart's Ironman over summer. After scoring for the Kookaburras against Germany this week, Tasmanian Jack Welch faced a task few would envy in last night's match against India. With scores locked at 2-2 at full time, the weight of the world fell on Welch's shoulders in the penalty shootout, but he couldn't deliver.
With the first save, the second save, the third save, the wall stands strong. Jack Welch has done his team proud this week. He will be back for plenty more in international hockey.
The Kookaburras' next block of Pro League games are against New Zealand and Great Britain in late April. Tasmania has all but ended Queensland's chances of making the Sheffield Shield final. Resuming on 6 for 180, the Bulls lost key batsman Max Bryant for 84 inside the first hour. Queensland was all out for 300 by lunch, giving Tasmania a 173-run lead. The Tigers were at one stage 3 for 70 before captain Jordan Silk took control, making a dashing half-century.
Cutaway boundary. Bread and butter for Jordan Silk. That lead now 349.
He eventually reached triple figures late in the day. Tasmania is 5 for 252 and leading by 431 runs, heading into the fourth and final day.
Good evening everyone. 23 degrees in Hobart today, Launceston reaching 22 and Burnie and Devonport both 20. Friendly Beaches, the state's top today of 24 degrees, 22 in St Helens, Ouse 20, 19 in Grove, Low Head and on Flinders Island, and Lyowini and Strawn both 16. A high-level cloud band can be seen over the north of the state today, with patchy low-level cloud to the west and south. Further out, thunderstorms can be seen over inland parts of Queensland. A mid to high-level cloud band is over the southwest of Western Australia and Victoria, while the rest of the country is mainly cloud-free. Tomorrow, a high can be seen over western New South Wales, while a low to the west of the Bight extends a trough and cold front over central Western Australia. West to southwesterly winds tomorrow 20 to 30 knots, turning west to northwesterly in the afternoon, and there is a strong wind warning current for all Tasmanian coastal waters. Cloudy and 20 degrees in Hobart and Campania tomorrow, 19 in Huonville. Cloudy and 21 in Launceston, Devonport 20, Georgetown partly cloudy and 19. 19 degrees in Burnie tomorrow, a shower or two and 18 in Strawn, Wynyard 20, and in the east partly cloudy and 21 in St Helens and Swansea and 21 also in Port Arthur. And the UV tomorrow is high across the state with sunset expected at 7:31 p.m. Looking on to Saturday, mainly fine in the west and north, temperatures across the state in the mid-20s. Showers about the west and south on Sunday, extending to the east during the day. And on Monday, light morning showers about the west and south, developing about the north in the evening. 27 in Perth tomorrow, cloud clearing, and 31 in Adelaide, Canberra 29, sunny in Sydney and Brisbane, and 40 degrees in Alice Springs. And there may be some possible showers this evening, but currently Hobart and Devonport both partly cloudy and 17, and Launceston partly cloudy and 18, and some beautiful weather for the weekend, Kim.
And that is all your news for this Thursday. Thanks for joining us. Stay with us as we head to our AFL coverage. For now, good night.